Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic, Classic, Non-Classic. This is episode number 883 and Doubleshot number 877. I'm just making sure of that. Okay, it is. Alright, I have two Justice League trades by Scott Snyder. Well, this first one is by him, but it's also by two other writers. And this is an event that came out, this miniseries came out just last year. As a matter of fact, it was released the same time as another miniseries done by a different writer. Yeah, it was released around the same time as the Man of Steel miniseries by Brian Michael Bendis, which relaunched Superman. This relaunched the main Justice League title. This is Justice League No Justice. This is the follow-up to Dark Knight's Metal. No, I have not a chance for you because I'm still trying to find a good price to buy the trade. This collects just the main miniseries, the 4 issues of this miniseries, and of course, the preview from DC Nation number 0. Here's one thing I don't like about this trade. It does not contain, there's a couple annuals that are tying into this, and yet they're not here, which is kind of weird. It's kind of the same thing what they did with Justice League vs. Suicide Squad. Actually, they did do that for that one. They did include not only the miniseries that one, also its tie-ins from, I believe it was from Justice League and Suicide Squad. This book didn't include those at all. Yeah, there's an annual for Green Arrow, which actually follows what he was up to during the whole of this. Heck, there's an annual for Nightwing. Yeah, the annual that came out from Nightwing last year had to deal with what he was up to during all this. Now, after the events of Dark Knight's Metal, which caused the destruction of the Source Wall, mind you, yeah, Source Wall had been broken. I don't remember how, it's been a while since I read it. So, yeah, and also, this is also kind of weird, they explain this in this book. Somehow, I'll get to the Watchtower in a minute, and yeah. So, Brainiac kidnaps a handful of heroes and a handful of villains and put them on these teams. On the cover here, I believe this is Team Entropy, which is comprised of Deathstroke, Beast Boy, Lex Luthor, Lobo, and Batman. That's Team Entropy. Team Mystery is comprised of, it's here on the back. This is Superman, Starfire, and Martian Manhunter. I'm like, that's interesting. Team Wonder, which at least about 3 members of this team actually did form just like Dark after this particular miniseries ended. And this is comprised of Wonder Woman, Zatanna, Edgley the Demon, and even Dr. Fate. Yeah, he's actually in this book too. On Team Wisdom, you have Flash, Cyborg, Harley Quinn, and Robin. This is, of course, Damian Wayne Robin. Yeah. Actually, Team Mystery also has Sinestro. Yeah, this is the roster for Team Mystery. Yeah, it's a 4-person roster, and they're pretty much given Brainiac's technology. Yeah, Team Mystery, still pretty much the same people. Let's see. Yeah, Team Mystery has also, besides Wonder Woman, Edgley the Demon, Zatanna, and Dr. Fate, but also Raven. Yeah, this is the roster for this one. And during the course of this crossover, and in the first issue, Brainiac dies in very somewhat gory fashion. How? Kind of the same way they killed member of Suicide Squad. They blow his head up. Except this time it wasn't a bomb, it was with some psychic blast done by Team Task Force 11. Yeah, which this was set up actually in Justice League vs. Suicide Squad, which, here's kind of the thing, it took until this event to finally do something with also. Yeah, I thought this was really interesting though. Yeah, people are fans of this costume. Yeah, Superman in this event has got his red trunks. I think in Dark Knight's Metal he still has his Rero's costume, but yeah, this is probably the first time outside of his own book that he actually does have this particular costume. Yeah, this is her team. This is comprised of, look, it looks like Despero, Simon, Dr. Destiny, Dr. Psycho. There's a few others. This is Task Force 11. Yeah, this is them. Oh, I almost forgot to point out who the other two writers of this particular book. Yeah, his two co-writers are James Tindall, which I think for a lot of people is not surprising because James Tindall has to follow around everywhere, and also Josh Williamson. Yes. And throughout this event, we also deal with stuff. Pretty much, it's just with this particular book, it's like ending stuff with Brainiac, the original one, and also the first post-Flashlight appearance of a character I did not expect to see show up ever in a DC comic again. Especially since, well, there's been nothing to do with this character for years. Like prior to this, his last appearance was back in 2011. This was his first appearance in 7 years. Yeah, I'm not kidding about that. It was. I was so surprised to see this guy because this guy has been around since I believe he's been around since like the late, I think like the 60s. Yeah, he's been around since the 60s, and his first appearance was actually in Superman 161 from the 60s. And who is this? Viral Docs. And look. You look very closely. That's a symbol for Legion. Yeah, his mercenary group would just simply put the present-day version of the Legion of Superheroes. I'm glad the fact that, of course, the artist for this issue, I don't think it's Francis. I know Francis Mello is one of the artists on here, along with Marcus too, Riley, Jorge Jimenez. Yeah, I was so shocked to see him because I liked this character. I liked what Alan Grant and Keith Giffen did with him in the pages of Legion. It was a great comic book, and I loved it. And heck, I even loved that Tony Bedard actually bothered to actually bring back the group, though he wanted to call it Legion, but he had to call it Rebels because people would be confusing. But it's really great to see Viral Docs, and heck, he even called himself Brainiac 2. Of course, there's no mention of his group Legion actually appearing in this continuity. Yeah, it's particularly very weird. And it's also odd though Scott Snyder brought this character back. Because, like I said, it had been 7 years since this character appeared. I can't think of any other comic this guy's appeared. I mean, yes, they had Brainiac actually give a different... He pretty much, believe it or not, Brainiac had... For some reason, they gave him the name of his son as his real name in this continuity. And in the first issue of this miniseries, they kill him. I'm like, that's interesting to kill off Brainiac. I mean, this is not a robot. This is not a duplicate. This is the actual Brainiac. Yeah, I was kind of surprised about that. Yeah, and then, of course, they take Brainiac's ship and do whatever with it. But this is a fun little miniseries. Though, also sad to see destruction of Brainiac's home planet. Yeah, I was honestly surprised to see that. Yeah, and apparently, Brainiac's people are kind of like him, where they keep collecting stuff. And since the destruction of the planet Kull, that's the name of the planet Kull. Not Culling, Kull. It's C-U-L-U. That's the name of the planet. And this has basically been a recurring planet in the DC Universe, like I said, since the 60s. So, quite an old planet. And it's something, though, that Scott Snyder destroyed this planet. Yeah. It's interesting, though. But this is actually really good. I love the way Scott Snyder wrote these characters. And it's interesting, though. Though, at the end of this, we see the set of 4 Justice League Dark, some stuff for the main Justice League book, and Justice League Odyssey. Now, Scott Snyder, of course, still writing to this very day, writing Justice League. Continue to write Justice League Dark, obviously. In the case of Josh Williamson, he would get Justice League Odyssey, which he would drop the book after, which he would leave the book after doing 5 issues. Yeah, I checked the upcoming solicits. Apparently, starting issue 6, Dan Abnett's taking over the book, which I'm like, that's weird. After only 5 issues of Josh Williamson, people have been begging Williamson to write a Justice League book. Like, I mean, yeah, he wrote 1 issue for the Bats Hell crossover, but actually wrote a regular Justice League book. People want to do that at that point for about 2 years, and he finally gets it and he leaves. Why? It's so bizarre. Though at least, one thing I also got praised with this book, I mean, this book sets up stuff that's not only explored in the pages of Justice League, but it's also explored pages of Flash. Because they have something called the Still Force, which actually in recent arc actually explore that. Yeah. That's one thing you got praised by Snyder. He sets stuff up, and he allows the writers to simply develop it. Unlike Bendis, when he sets up stuff, he forces other writers to actually follow up with it. At least in the case of Williamson, he actually was there to help Scott Snyder to actually develop this little plot point. Yeah, this book is great. 9.5 out of 10. Really, really good. Next up, it is Justice League Volume 1, The Totality. Collecting the first 7 issue of Justice League Volume 4. Now, also almost forgot. This book was Lobo's last known appearance because after this miniseries, he hasn't appeared since then. I think he did just return to pages of Supergirl. But that's it. Excuse me. And despite this book containing 7 issues, it's really thick. It's like one of those special trades that collect like older issues of a series. And I love the new logo. It's fantastic. I love it. And this book was such a good read. And here's the thing. Scott Snyder did write almost all the issues in here, except one. Yeah, there's one issue which doesn't focus on Justice League. It's focused on the Legion of Doom. Yes, Lex Luthor forms a Legion of Doom, which is comprised of himself, Black Manta, Gorilla Grodd, Cheetah, Sinestro, who was started in Ultra Hardcore for some reason. That was even bizarre. And I think that's it. Yeah, get this. The base operations is the skull from the Legion of Superheroes cartoon, from the Superheroes Friends cartoon, and the skull did pop up also in the Just Like Unlimited series, which also served as headquarters of the Secret Society of Supervillains. And the last known time this particular place showed up in a DC comic book prior to this was actually in the pages of Final Crisis. Yeah, it's kind of bizarre though. And they said this thing called the Totality, which is some kind of alien creature. I mean, despite though you have just like fighting the Totality, at least they have fighting actual. Oh, they also have the Joker. Yes, the Joker is part of this group, which a lot of the time no one wants to deal with the Joker because how insane he is. Yes, I even love what it was. A stage dialogue with Cheetah, which makes perfect sense to do. It's something though. They have enemy of Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Flash, Aquaman. Cyborg doesn't have any bad guys, so. But in the case of like Martian Manhunter, he has a couple enemies. Like it would be interesting if they throw in Despero of all people, but that would be interesting. Or throw enemy of Hawker, like maybe they could throw like Gentleman Ghost or maybe the Shadow Thief, but no. It's kind of weird. And despite the fact, now this book, I talked to a few people about this, it basically, it's a good interpretation of what Scott Snyder does with these characters, but it has a similar feeling to it of Grant Morrison's JLA. That's what this feels like. And it's good. And I thoroughly enjoyed reading this book. Yeah. And this book also has appearances by several superheroes, not technically on Just Like Team, but part of Just Like Foundation. We even have like a brief appearance. Take a look at this first page. Like, we see this comet, then we see also Our Man from the android Our Man from the future, and then we have the Monitor from Crisis on Different Earths. And then this panel here, that's Commodity from Jack Kirby's Commodity Last Boy on Earth. And on the bottom here, that is Present Day, which has the Phantom Stranger, Highfather, a Guardian. I don't know who the other two are, but it's a really good opening page. And I gotta praise, I think this is Jorge Menez does his artwork. I believe it is. But this opening page is so fantastic. And the interesting called the Totality, and this is basically this cosmic doorknob that gets developed on really well in here. And if you turn it the other way, it forms the symbol for the White Lantern Corps. And this book also has appearances by, like in this first issue alone, you see appearance by people who are not on the main Justice League team. You have Green Arrow, who looks a little different. Plastic Man. Let's see, who else here? I see, well, Hawkman. Adam Strange. Yeah, he's here too. Yeah, he's right here on this page, right down here. There's Adam Strange. Which I believe this is his first appearance since he showed up for that brief cameo in Savage Dawn. We also Mr. Terrific. He does show up for a couple more issues even after this. And with this, oh yeah, and also, this book also has Vandal Savage show up. And here's something really weird. Just like in No Justice, he gets killed in this first issue. Yeah, first Scott Snyder kills off Brainiac, a character made his debut back in the Silver Age, and then he kills Vandal Savage made his debut back in the Golden Age of comics. He's an old villain. But it's weird, though, the fact he kills off two major villains so quickly. And here we have Lex, back in his classic armor look that people love really well. Yeah, he's no longer having the S look that he used to have, which is interesting. Yeah. And I love the look of the Legion, the way it's drawn here. It looks so good. Like, there they are. Cheetah, Black Manta, Joker, Gorilla Grodd, and Sinestro. Though Sinestro is not... He actually briefly abandons the Yellow Ring for the Ultra Lantern Corps. And they also have... Believe it or not, they have John Stewart become the first recruit. Now, one thing I also got praised about this book is the fact... I think it's in issue 4, I think it is. Where it has like an explanation of how this group came together. Which I'm like, that's interesting. Yeah. And apparently by this book, Scott Snyder kind of forgot what he wrote in Dark Knight Meta, where he's like, they're recruiting John Stewart to join the team. You know, he technically was already in the roster. It's like, that's weird. I don't really know why, but yeah. It's something a little weird, the fact that he just had to do that. I think it's in issue 4, I believe it is. Yeah, and also for some reason, I think it's in this book right here. For some reason, I don't know why. Apparently, Scott Snyder forgot the fact that the Justice League already have a watchtower and it's orbiting the planet. And here, for some reason, it's the same place as Grant Morrison's JLA run, where it's on the frickin' moon. Like, here it is. Here's the watchtower from Grant Morrison's JLA. Yeah, that is that very thing. I know because I've read Grant Morrison's JLA. And it's weird, though, the fact that it shows up here. Yeah, and apparently you say, this is the watchtower? Like, maybe this was the watchtower from the Jeff Johns run, and I'm trying to think, it was Jeff Johns and Jeff Johns, from Jeff Johns up with the Christopher Priest. Yeah, they say this is the same one. No, it isn't. It is not. Also, they also have a trip to the source wall in here, which is interesting though. Yeah, and here's it's issue 5. This is Legion number 1. We also appearance by Black Adam, Granny Goodness. Yeah, it's like this book is like having guest stars galore in here. Also, they also set up in here the formation of the Outsiders in this book. I forgot to mention that. We also see a brief return of Sinestro's daughter, who makes a brief cameo appearance in here. Yeah. And the whole point of issue 5 is just the backstory of the Legion. It's called Legion of Doom Part 1, which Part 2 is not the next issue. Nope, it's right back to Totality. Yeah. You know, when I saw their base operations, I'm like, really? Why in the world would they have this thing for? Yeah, it's particularly weird. And the Justice League also are apparently based out of... Oh, look, it's the symbol for the White Lantern Corps. Yep, that is the symbol of the White Lantern Corps. I know because I read Blackest Night. Yeah. Yeah. This book just has so many good things related to this book that it just... There's nothing particularly wrong with this book at all. Except that it just seemed like Scott Snyder was taking so much stuff from Grant Morrison's JLA that it just, does his own thing. Which I appreciate with Scott Snyder's interpretation of the Justice League. Which, this lineup, all it is just the Justice League animated series lineup with the addition of Cyborg and Aquaman. That's simply what this book has. Yeah, these are the core, 9 characters of this book. Yeah, there are core 9 characters with addition of supporting characters, which is great. And I at least gotta praise Scott Snyder for at least a fresh start to the book. It's better than whatever crap Brian Hitchens came up with. I mean, the guy is a damn good artist, but man, he sucks at storytelling when it comes to writing. Yeah, but this is good. Give this book a I give this book a 10 out of 10. It's just really damn good. Nothing wrong with the book, though I thought that the Ultraviolet Corps thing was a little weird, and apparently has a connection to the Sector 666, which also was a site of a massacre by the Manhunters. Yeah. So, like, with this book, we see the first post-Flashlight appearance of Viral Docs, aka the second Brainiac. In here, it's the Grant Morrison Watchtower and the Legion of Doom. And I'm like, okay. I'm happy we have a Legion of Doom, which is fantastic. They're a great group of characters. But what about the Secret Society? Are they still around? Maybe Scott Snyder forgot about them. Who the heck knows? At least that he does not base his life on the Super Friends. Thank God he did not do that. Okay? So, that's really it for this particular review. Stay tuned for my review of One Piece and another Comic Corner, okay? Excuse me. See you next video. Bye.